Hey guys, I don't have my regular microphone for today, but hopefully this sounds all right. This is a video or a topic that I'm decently passionate about, something that I am pretty confident in my philosophy and side of the story on. The video is titled "Why I Don't Drink or Do Drugs." First off, I want to say that I don't look down on anyone that drinks or does drugs like recreationally. Like, I think everything's okay in moderation, right? But on the other side of it, I also want to say that I'm not condoning drinking or doing drugs at all in this video. So just so you know, it's totally cool if you do that. It's just not my thing, but I want to go into my backstory of why I think that way, why I've grown up that way, and why I stick to that philosophy. So growing up, I was someone that grew up in a family where my mom, my dad, all of the family members in my family had told me not to do drugs or drink. My dad's side of the family is pretty Christian. There was no alcohol or drugs inside any of my houses, inside my dad's house or my mom's house. Like, I did not grow up around any of that. So it was unusual for me to see people drinking or like smoking or whatnot, as a kid, even up until high school. Like, I never was around that. I never saw it. And I had been grown up told not to do it. There are people in my family that have somewhat of an addictive personality, and have a reliance on those type of substances and alcohol and whatnot. I'm not talking about my immediate family, because I said that my immediate family, I was not around that, but other family members, like, outside my main family that I lived with, had issues in the past with those types of things. So I was always advised to stay away from drinking and doing drugs. I was always said, it never brings anything good. You'll always regret it. It's not something you should start. And growing up also as well, like, I was a kid that was someone that just wanted to do good in school, go to college, and I played soccer. I played select soccer on the side as well. So, like, I had set myself up in environments where I wasn't going to be influenced by those people. So I was not involved in any bad crowds in school. And to be honest, this is going to sound kind of funny, but I didn't even realize people drank or did drugs until I went off to college. So, like, I had heard rumors of people doing it in high school, but, like, I didn't know that was a thing. Like, I thought that was something that was in the movies, that people, like, drank or did drugs, but as a child, like as a 15-year-old in high school. Like, I thought that was just something that was made up and in the movies. I didn't realize kids actually did that. Like, I was not aware of, like, that there were parties in high school and all that. I thought that was all just in movies. And then I went off to college and realized, like, that I saw a couple of my friends or people that I knew from high school that were hungover and stuff. And I'm like, wait, what? Do you guys actually drink? And they're like, what? And it was a very confusing time for me. And that's where, like, this whole, not this whole polarity of my perspective on all of it kind of formed. And I realized that I had kind of a sheltered and narrowed lens viewpoint of it, and didn't realize that it was a normal thing to do those things. So that was a very interesting experience for me when I went off to college. But as someone who has an addictive personality, I believe I do, or have an obsessive personality. Like, I can obsess over things and get really into them. I had mentioned in a previous video that I've gotten, like, I've had problems, like, playing a lot of video games and whatnot. Like, I can get into things and like obsess over them. And having people in my family like that, it's been something that I've just never gotten into to drink or do drugs, because I know that there's also a possibility that could get out of hand. I do not want to become reliant on those things to function. Like, if it comes to the point where I'm using them and abusing them so much to the point where I have to become reliant on those substances and vehicles just to function, that could be horrible. And another reason why I don't do it, I want to say, is as someone that's never done anything like that before, I do not like, in general, how people act while they are under the influence. People make very interesting decisions. Their personality changes and their character changes when they're under the influence, and it's something that I don't mesh well with, because I'm there to hang out with the person that their normal self, not when they are influenced by a substance that changes who they are, usually for the negative. Of course, there are cons for me not doing them, right? Like, I don't go to parties with friends, right? Like, I don't stay in those groups, so I block myself out of that, and that you could say that I'm kind of cutting off friends in that way, but it's just something I believe in so well, and people know that about me. I'm a straight arrow in terms of that. Like, I'm pretty hardcore in terms of my health and whatnot, but also in that belief as well. So that's a con. Also, like, I don't go out to bars. Similar to parties, I don't go out to bars. I just do not like the bar scene. Kind of like how I was saying, I don't like how people like act when they're under the influence. It's the same thing in bars. It's just a bunch of people creating that atmosphere that just makes me feel really uncomfortable. And it's just somewhere I do not want to be, and it's also incredibly loud, and it's not like it's good sounding music or something that I would be really into. It's just loud, people yelling and whatnot. Just not for me. And it's just harder. It's another thing is that it's harder for me to get along with people, in the sense that some people will judge me for not drinking and not want to associate with me, and they see me as like some goody two-shoes person. But as someone, it's not necessarily that. It's just someone I'm very narrow focused and am driven, and I cannot let those things come into my life, because I think they're going to affect them in a negative way. So I continue to stick to my ways and believe in this, and I think I will continue to do that for the rest of my life. I'm 25 years old right now. I don't see anything changing. I feel like the peer pressure I would have got through my college years, through my years now into my mid-20s, has been probably an all-time high. I don't see the peer pressure getting any higher. I have not come even close to trying it either. I don't see that changing. So I'm curious to hear your guys' opinions and thoughts on alcohol and drugs. Again, I want to say that, like, I don't condone it. Obviously, it's what the whole point of the video is, but I don't judge anyone for doing it. Like, I now realize that it's normal to do those things, and it took me a little bit of a learning curve or a perspective change for me to understand that. But keep that in mind. Like, I do not hate on anyone for doing it. Of course, I prefer you to not do it, but I understand. I totally get the appeal. Like, it is what it is. So I'm curious to hear what your guys' thoughts are on drugs, alcohol, and that whole thing. And if you guys have ever had issues like finding people that don't do those things, like, because that's something that I've had issues with, is like finding friends and groups of people where they don't do any of those things, and I can go out with friends and not have to worry about them doing any drugs or being under the influence. So I'm curious to hear your guys' opinions. But yeah, that was pretty much all I wanted to talk about in this video. Again, you guys know how much I appreciate anyone for supporting the channel and watching. That's amazing. But hope you guys all have a great day, have a great week. I'm filming this on a Monday, so have a great week ahead. We are getting a little bit closer to Christmas, so that's super exciting. But yeah, everyone have a great rest of your day, and peace out.